With the global launch of Warzone Mobile right around the corner, I thought I would make a quick but detailed guide on how you all can prepare yourselves for the launch of Warzone Mobile to give yourselves the advantage above everyone else, so that when the game finally launches on March 21st, you're going to be able to hit the ground running. Now, my first tip, I'm sorry, it's bashfully obvious. It's just to try to get access to the game and get your hands on it early before the game actually globally launches. If you don't know, Warzone Mobile has been in a regional launch phase for the last 12 or 16 or 18 months. It's been out for a really long time in a few different countries. I believe the one that's available in right now is Malaysia, Australia, Chile, Norway, and Sweden. And there might be one or two more additional countries, but it's basically only available in 5 or 7 countries in the world. If you live in one of those countries, you can actually just go to the iOS App Store, the Google Play Store, download it, and get playing today. But if you live outside one of those app stores, you're going to need to use a VPN or use an account or a third-party app store to get access to Warzone Mobile, and then use a VPN to play the game before the game actually launches. But by far, this is the biggest way to get ahead of everyone else. You're gonna be able to get the mechanics down, you're gonna be able to get the map knowledge down, and obviously just get a feel for the game, because every mobile game, even though it's a shooter and you might be amazing at Call of Duty Mobile, but Warzone Mobile, it's its own engine. It might do the sensitivities a little bit different. The movement is obviously different from other Call of Duty mobile games or other mobile shooters. And so the biggest thing is just try to get access to the game. I do have a tutorial from a while ago. It's still relevant. All the details are still the same and everything still works on how to download Warzone Mobile. So you can go ahead and watch that. I'll leave a link down below in the description. But for those of you who can't get access to Warzone Mobile, the only thing I would suggest is just to play Call of Duty Mobile before the launch. It's probably the closest thing to Warzone Mobile in terms of style, feel, graphics, gameplay. There's nothing else out there that's really going to come close. The other alternative is if you can't get access to Warzone Mobile, you can just do everything that I'm saying in this video on PC or console, because as you all know, Warzone Mobile is going to be cross progression. So any progress you have on your PC or your console account, you will have that exact progress, all those weapons, all those attachments, all those characters ready to use on day one for Warzone Mobile. So everything I say in this video is mainly for account progress and things to work on and things outside of the game. So if you can't get it on your phone, but if you have access to a copy of the game on your PC or console, you could still do everything on your PC or console and just have it ready for day one of Warzone Mobile. But for those of you who can get access to Warzone Mobile before the global launch on March 21st, well, then there's a few things that I've outlined that I think if you focus on these, you are going to put yourselves in a great position to be much further ahead than everyone else on their first day of Warzone Mobile. And one of the most important things I think to do right now in Warzone Mobile is to start leveling up your weapons. Warzone Mobile has a very interesting weapon leveling system where it's not just use the weapon to level it up to get attachments and to make the best loadout possible. Sometimes you actually have to level up different weapons in order to get certain attachments for various weapons. Like in order to get an attachment for weapon A, I might have to level up weapon B to level 20 to get an attachment for level A. It's really weird, kind of confusing. I'm not a fan of this system at all, but I can get it. It kind of makes you use all the different weapons in a certain class, or just kind of have a general feel and understanding for the game in order to really unlock as much as you can within the game. So knowing this, it might be much more difficult to get the desired loadout you want. And so having these next 3 weeks to go out there and to grind multiplayer or battle royale to get these weapon levels and these attachments unlocked, so that on day one you can just be grinding these lobbies with the best weapons is probably a good idea. Now, something I absolutely hate doing on the first day of playing a new game is getting my heads-up display dialed in. This is because every heads-up display just always feels a little different. You're never able to copy over your old HUD from, let's say, COD Mobile, where you play day in and day out. You're never able to just copy it over and put it right into Warzone Mobile. You have to reconfigure it. You have to take the buttons and the settings they're giving you and to make the most of it. And so if you're able to get Warzone Mobile early, then take this time, please, to dial in your HUD. If you've already played mobile games before and you have a layout, if you're a 3-finger player, 4-finger, claw player, tablet player, however you play, do your best to get the most comfortable you can with your heads-up display, because for the first week, people are just not going to know how to play Warzone Mobile. There's probably going to be a ton of new players who are getting used to mobile gaming or getting back into things, and so you can really take advantage of these first few weeks of Warzone Mobile if you're already dialed in, if you have that muscle memory from the first few weeks of practice. I will be coming out with a detailed heads-up display guide within the first week of Warzone Mobile globally launching. I'm not going to release it before the game launches, but if you have no clue what heads-up display works best for you or works best for Warzone Mobile, then you can stay tuned for that video by subscribing to the channel if you guys haven't already, as you're definitely not going to want to miss it. Now, something I don't think a lot of people are going to take advantage of during these first few weeks, or I guess these few weeks leading up to the launch of the game, is right now nobody really has like a grind squad. And what I mean by that is typically when these games come out, if you're someone who really loves gaming and you're really passionate about it, you know you've had days where you play 3, 4, 5, or even more hours. Heck, there's days where I've played 24 hours straight, and those days are made so much easier when you're able to play with teammates, or you're able to play with squad mates who you've played before. You know they're competent, you can communicate with them, you can laugh with them, you can banter with them. It just makes gaming so much easier, or gaming for long periods of time so much easier. And one thing that's really hard to do is when a game globally launches, everyone's trying to find a squad. Everyone, especially if you're a really good player, people are always reaching out to you, trying to get your attention. Hey, come play with me. Oh, you need one for a team. Oh, I need one for a team. It is an absolute mayhem. As someone who has done global launches for games over the last few years, it is one of the most difficult things to actually find a good squad to play with leading up to the launch of a game. And during the launch of a game, it seems like everyone is just fighting for the best players and fighting for people who are fun to play with. And so use this time over the next few weeks to join some discords, join communities, reach out to people on Twitter that are playing Warzone Mobile, and just try to find squads. Try to see if you fit in anywhere. And it sounds kind of cringe, but just try to make friends, because this is going to make the process so much easier on day one, when you can already say, hey, I've got some squads locked in, I can see if they need me, we can dive in, we can game for a few hours, and I don't have to worry about solo queuing and queuing up with a bunch of crappy randoms on day one, because that is going to make the experience so much worse. I can already tell some of these lobbies are going to be super duper sweaty. And so for me personally, I'm going to be listening to my own advice in about a week or so, reaching out to some friends, reaching out to some content creators, reaching out to some professional players, and trying to get my first week grind squad situated so that when the day comes, I can just say, hey, when are we dropping in? When are we queuing? And let's get this going. And so if you're casual, I don't think this one necessarily applies to you too much, but if you're someone who definitely you think you're going to be grinding the game a ton, then trying to preemptively try to get a squad or get yourself in some Discord servers or communities, then I think that helps. And also, I do want to mention, I will be relaunching my Discord server. You can join it. It'll be linked down below in the description. And of course, we'll have Fortnite Mobile, Warzone Mobile, general mobile gaming, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for squad mates, you can join the Discord. It'll be linked down below in the description, and I hope to see you guys over there. Now, this next tip, I think it just kind of comes with playing the game, but it would be super helpful if you all were able to familiarize yourself with the maps if you've never played any of them before on other versions of Warzone. Obviously, Rebirth Island and Verdansk, these are not new maps to the Call of Duty franchise. Verdansk is like the most popular battle royale map or Warzone map that they've ever released, so there's a good chance some of you have probably played it at some point in your life. But even myself, there are lots of areas on the map I have never explored. You need to know where buy stations are, you need to know where vehicles are, you need to know just how to generally rotate throughout the map because of how important cover is in this game. You need to know the maps. Again, because just in these few weeks leading up to the game, there's been so many scenarios where I've been like, oh yeah, right over there, I know there's a buy station, I can go buy back my teammate, I can go buy a UAV, or I know there should be a truck right around this corner. And it's just those small intuitive map knowledge bits that, again, you kind of pick up from playing over time. But I think you can also make a pretty good effort by trying to study and learn the maps. That'll, again, really set you ahead of all these new players who are playing these games, again, for the first time. Or again, if it's a pro Call of Duty console player who's been playing Verdansk for his entire life but is playing on mobile for the first time, it doesn't matter how good his map knowledge is. If he doesn't know how to hold a phone in his hands and game on it at the same time, then I don't think it matters too much. So I wouldn't stress on memorizing the map. Just try to make yourself familiar with both of the maps that are launching. And my last tip that you can do before the global launch of Warzone Mobile is actually watch a bunch of Warzone tips and tricks videos. Now, this might be an interesting point because it's Warzone Mobile that's coming out and not Warzone, but in my preparation for the launch of the game, I've been doing a ton of research myself, and I've honestly been learning so much new information from Warzone tips and tricks videos released like 3-4 years ago, even videos being released last month on console and PC. These tips and tricks videos, for the most part, they correlate to mobile because even if it's not the same mechanic and the same button layout for PC and console as it is for mobile, we still do have most of the same movement system. We have most of the same weapons. The perk system is similar. There's a lot of similarities between the Warzone system on PC and console and the Warzone gameplay system coming to mobile. And so right now, there's just basically no tips and tricks videos out there online for Warzone Mobile. And so if you're someone like me who I never grew up playing Warzone, I was playing Fortnite or Call of Duty Mobile or other games besides Warzone Mobile, so I have very little specific Warzone knowledge. And so for me, I've been doing a ton of just general Warzone knowledge, and it's been helping me learn a lot of game sense, game knowledge, little tips and tricks and things that I had no clue were in Warzone Mobile, but yes, are indeed in the game because they were brought from the mainline version from PC and console. Don't worry, I will be coming out with a full 100 tips and tricks video. Again, the first week the game does launch, I have literally so many guides planned to come out the first week of the game. We have been cooking up some absolute heat in the background. And so as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you took away something that you're able to implement into your pre-Warzone Mobile launch strategy that'll help you become a better player or just enjoy the launch of the game a little bit more overall. I'm super excited for the launch of the game, if you guys can't tell, and I'm saving most of my videos for the actual global launch of the game, so I'm not sure how active I'll be leading up to it. But again, thanks so much for watching this video. As always, if you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.